Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Saturday, July 29th. Wow, we are at the end of July. So I guess maybe I could go for some ranked play. We need to trade out a daily quest. So we need to play some druids, beasts, and murlocs, which is not particularly too bad. As far as the Frost Festival, I think that's done as far as it can be done, so just for the moment, we're probably not going to do an arena run, which means this is probably not going to be a 5-hour long stream unless people really want that to happen. As I'm just starting, we'll see if anybody wants to play or talk on the chat, and if none of that happens, I guess we're just doing daily quests like the old days. So druid beasts to begin with. Well, we have this quest beast thing. We have standard or wild, and I guess I could play standard here since I just need to play the cards. Well, no. Did I need to play druid cards or did I need to win? Should have paid better attention. As for news, I've been saying it almost for 9 days now, if not longer, that there really isn't too much. I guess we're still just kind of waiting for the Gamescom to happen so we can start covering that. And this might just be a quicker experience, which isn't a terrible idea in the first place because honestly, I've had to restart Wolfenstein 1, the 2014 Wolfenstein: The New Order, after recording 3 hours of footage because I had an error with the recording, and I'm getting into it. The game is very odd though. My ISP right now is not working very good either, and that's irritating me as I'm seeing a lot of blinking and internet problems, and I am not certain if or how to fix that. Let's see, should I just start early? I guess I should. That's probably not worth it to do that, but this Beast Quest deck actually requires you to play a bunch of 5 minions, so it's full of a lot of more expensive cards.
For the wild.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if I left something online. No, I went through everything. When you start streaming, it streams a video of yourself, and it's silly. My internet's been having trouble. I actually tried to call my internet provider, and it just immediately told me, like, we already know that there's an outage happening here. We don't care. Pretty much is what I figured their feeling was about that. It seems seems very much like that's the case. I've got to get rid of this vicious card or it's gonna not work out well at all. I wish I had a choice to switch to a different company, or just have 2 companies if it was affordable. But even if you have 2 companies, they cheap out on the back end. So even if you have like a different connection to a different company, they all connect to the same server at some point, and that server is the one that they're being cheap on or is having trouble. So regardless of your company, it still seems to mess you up. I don't like it though. I certainly don't like the idea of the streaming was working. That's the real thing. If I had streamed the first time, like first time I'd ever streamed, and it said, no, this isn't gonna work for you. Your internet's too low. Then I would have been cool with it. But I've been streaming for a couple of months now, and things have been working. So for things to get worse doesn't make sense. See if this works. Oh. Yeah. Well, that was a mistake. Just disconnected my server completely just in case it was doing something, and I bet I can't connect back to it ever again. And since I VPN into my server the whole time, that was an incredibly stupid thing to do. So it's not the server.
Malfurion versus Anduin.
Let's do something really stupid. Let's run a speed test while we're playing. Oddly, running a speed test does often cause the internet to speed up, because they see that you're running a speed test and then decide to help you some more.
Job done.
Let's see. Do I have anything else that's running on my computer? Nope. Not really. So, sadly, I think I'm just gonna have to live with what I've got. I've been very big into trying to build a RetroPie game console, and I've spent way too much time thinking about it, honestly. Instead of recording, which is what I need to be doing desperately. Like, I don't even know. I may miss a release date. I may have to finally just give up and look at after Halloween, not even make it to the new year, and just say, look, we got to get rid of one of these time slots. It's either going to be the 2 o'clock with the kids time slot, or the 7 o'clock with the AAA games time slot, and there's an argument for both, honestly. What do we want? Poisonous, I guess.
Job done.
Let's go ahead and go through the news, I suppose. Hearthstone cards are getting complicated. There's about 3 that have been announced, and when all of them are viewable in the game, I want to go look for them. I don't see a real reason to bother going through the through cards as they're slowly being trickled out. I know that's what Hearthstone is doing. I know that they hand some announcements to some people and some other announcements to other people, and just keep attempting to that was potentially a waste. They're attempting to just build up the hype train for the new expansion, but I just don't don't want to ride that hype train, frankly. So when the cards come out, I'll look at all of them. But some of them are pretty crazy. And for the game to get complicated, that is what I think is going to help this game in the long run. There's this overall problem with all collectible card games. And I don't know if you're ever going to be able to solve this problem, honestly. But one certainly can try. Where you're going to have these pros that want no RNG at all, no randomness. And they're going to want the game to 100% be that way. That way they can very consistently cause that to happen. And let's see. There we go. Then you're going to want new people to just have fun. And new people to have fun are going to want the most variety, which is pretty much, they are going to want some RNG. They're also going to want to win. And to win as a new player when you don't have cards in a collectible card game is going to require you to have some randomness happen. And then you're going to have some, I think there probably is a third group in there that's going to be somewhere in the middle of, if I was, that's going to want half random and half complicated. That's where I would put myself personally, is I want the game to be pretty predictable, but I would like to have every now and then some randomness. Maybe every third to sixth game, just have a random loss for the benefit of that. And my mouse cursor is flickering again, and I have no idea why it does that. I think I'm gonna try to work on that. So the new complicatedness, the new randomness will probably satisfy the middle group that I'm in. It'll probably satisfy the new group, and frankly, it's just gonna push out the top players. Which honestly, in Hearthstone, I think that's what you're gonna have to do. I think you're just gonna have to stop catering to the best of the best players, as frankly, even if they are the streamers, even if they are bringing in new players, you really aren't going to be able to cater to them. They're going to complain anyways because they are elitists, because they are the elite, and inherently that's the problem. And you can see that in Kriperian's latest YouTube clip video he put up, where he just hates the Frostfall Festival because it's getting new players to play in Arena, and when new players play in Arena, they don't play the way he expects, and because they're not playing the most logical the way he expects, he's losing. And so he's not happy, he's salty against losing to random people and new players, because he wants 100% predictability, and he doesn't want any randomness. And so you have a perfect example here where you can't cater to Kriperian. You really can't. If you try, he'll be the only one that's happy at all, and that doesn't solve anything. There you go. All my cards are now 0.
Job done.
So I play 5 mana to draw 3 cards, and I'll have 3 cards here. And it's not just Kriperian, who was the #1 ranked arena player last month, is what he claims, and I believe him. and that's probably in Hearth Arena #1 ranked, which is probably not even that hard to get to because he probably just spends a lot of money and plays a lot of arena runs and can outspend his way to victory, pay to win. But yeah, you can't satisfy that one guy for the potentially hundreds and thousands of other Hearthstone players that are enjoying the fact that they're getting free arena runs. They're enjoying getting an extra win in the arena run, and they're actually wanting to do the arena run. Clearly, that's the example here for me too. Is that I didn't even want to do arena runs because they're not worth the money if you're just gonna lose 3 times in a row, which we've seen me do. Like, sadly, Hearth Arena doesn't fully change things. Let's this will be interesting. Draw 3 cards, and he throws a coin to that. Interesting.
I can wait and fish all day. For the wild.
There we go. Interesting. So I only have this 1 9 mana card in my deck. Everything else is free, except for Shapeshift. There was an article that came out that said Wolfenstein 2 is kind of hard. Wolfenstein 1 is kind of hard too. I'm playing it on easy, but in certain spots there are just instant kills. And right now I'm slight spoilering here, breaking into a place and it's having you play as a stealth action player, more like something like Dishonored without the magical abilities. And let's see, I need to play more Druid class cards. It just doesn't really feel like Wolfenstein. Like, the weird thing here is when people think Wolfenstein before Wolfenstein The New Order, they're thinking Wolfenstein 3D. Like, you're not thinking Return to Castle Wolfenstein, you're not thinking Wolfenstein, the original Wolfenstein game, not made by id. You're thinking Wolfenstein 3D, where your feet are always on the ground, you're running around in this 3D land area that's kind of a mess. Graphically, you're looking for secrets, you're collecting a lot of collectibles. The Wolfenstein The New Order does have some collectibles. It's alright, but the stealth element just never happened. You're using the knife in The New Order in a way that was never viable, in my opinion, in the original game. Then, if you were using the knife in Wolfenstein 3D, you were doing it because you are about to die and you know it, and you have just hopefully a slight chance that maybe you could stab one enemy and pick up their gun and get some more bullets and get back to being able to play the game the correct way.
My favorite.
But in The New Order, you're using the knife to do full-on stealth takedowns. There's a whole perk system that you unlock perks by doing stealth takedowns. You can play entire sections stealth if you want to, and on top of that, there are other sections that kind of insist that you play that way. Let's see, let's do this and kill this. And then do this, and then play this. Kevin was on bit of screen lag. Is it on my end or yours? It's on my end. I don't know what's going on. Like, there should be no lag at all. The only thing that I've even got, like, right now Like, nothing should be playing. I will go through every single web page I have. I guess I could just close Chrome in total, but that's a little weird to do. Like nothing's playing. Let's see.
Out of my jungle. Job's done. I don't have enough math.
Let's see. I have 2 windows of Chrome. Unless there's something playing on Twitter's end or something. Is this just... We could suspend this tab, I suppose. And let's see. Honestly, I just think that the issue is my internet service provider is not working well. I'll suspend both of the tabs that might be an issue, and we'll see if that fixes it. Wouldn't it be funny if it's something even crazier, like Windows Update is downloading right now in the background? I suppose maybe? Can I figure that out? Like, is there a way to... Like, if I open the task manager and go to performance and Ethernet, like... Let's see. Yeah, I can fiddle with it certainly, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. I literally don't know what's going on. I think my internet service provider is just screwing it up. So I've tried my best to get it to work. I need to stream. There will be times, I suppose, in the future if my internet is just completely out, that I'll have to just record things instead of streaming, just to get things done. I guess if my internet's completely out, though, I can't play Hearthstone, so I guess there will actually never be any times that happens, will there? Anyway, so I was talking about Wolfenstein 1. I'm liking it. It seems oddly designed, though, because it seems like every single level you start with no weapons and nothing that you collected from the previous level. So it's very chopped up, which is ridiculous in my opinion. And you seem to find new weapons in every level so far, which is also kind of crazy. It feels like maybe the game is still tutorializing me a lot. See, I can't do that right now, so I'll do this.
My favorite.
Even though I'm on like level 5 of 16, it still feels like it won't be until maybe 1 or 2 more levels that I'm fully empowered and I have all the guns. Alexis is on. Alexis, I have something special for you. At your request, I have followed your instructions and added a fidget spinner. Just for you. So this will get me all the views in the world, I'm sure. That was an easy gag to do, by the way. So I didn't spend any real time on that.
Ready to ride.
Here we can probably adjust the fidget spinner size a little bit. If I can stretch it. Nope. I'll just leave it where it is. Gain 2 mana crystals.
For the wild.
Apparently, to move on with the news, the PlayStation Plus is going to raise their prices in the UK. So if you have PlayStation Plus in the UK, you need to cancel auto renew and use the cards, the codes to get PlayStation Plus. And I imagine ideally you need to play that gamble where you lock into several years. Alexa says, thank you so much. You will get so many subs now. Smiley face, smiley face. Let's see. It's for today only, don't worry. Anybody else watching the fidget spinner, it's going to be very distracting to watch. So, in sad news, and kind of not fully explained news, honestly, not enough response here. The game House Party has been taken off of Steam. I think it was early access. I don't think it ever came out of early access. House Party is a, let's just be generous and say, not great game that is built around the concept of having a house party and then ending up having sex with one or more of the girls in the game. And it's been taken down over pornography complaints. Now, there's just some problems the way this is being dealt. Steam has already said they don't want pornography, but they have been flippantly allowing some games that have sexual content, but then disallowing things that are 100% sex games. Like Honey Pop is a great example of a game I covered that does have sexual content in it, but honestly the majority of it is just a dating simulator, and you have to put a file in a folder to unlock the uncensored versions. However, even in the censored versions of the 12 or so pictures you get, it's still pretty provocative. And there's just some weird stuff here because Wolfenstein 1 has nudity in it. In fact, I was doing a scene in Wolfenstein 1 where I get coffee as BJ Blazkowicz and bring it to this girl that I'm hanging out with, and I frankly barely just met her as far as the story is saying, and they, let's go ahead and play this just in case we're gonna win streak. And so I'm getting this hot coffee, and as I'm playing the game, I'm saying, "Oh, this is interesting. You're bringing cappuccino, actually not just regular coffee," and I'm like, "This must be a reference to the hot coffee mod in GTA. They must just be making a wink and an I figured they were just gonna reference it, and I said out loud, surely there's not gonna be any sex in this Wolfenstein game. Literally 5 seconds later, they cut to BJ Blazkowicz and this woman having sex, and I have to edit it, and I'm like, oh, I hate when I have to edit. I hate when I have to blur. It sucks so bad. I guess nobody really cared about my awful editing on LA Noire. Because there was lots and lots of scenes there, and just instances in the same scene of having to edit things. Alexa says, Kevin Wu, it's not wrong. There is a bit of screen lag, but the audio is fine. Yeah, that's because the audio in a upload is barely anything, where the video is taking up 99% of the data. Let's do this and do this,
Job done.
and then end the turn. So, why does a Bethesda ZeniMax game, id game, well, it was Bethesda Works that made Wolfenstein 1, so not an id game technically, but it's all the same parent company, ZeniMax. Why do they get to have sex in their one scene? Is it the fact that it is one scene, or what's the percentage that Steam cares about? What is the rules? That's all I'm really you can really ask in this is, what are the rules? Why is House Party taken off? Alexis asks how my summer's going. It's going very, very hot and very, very slow, and I hate it. I completely hate it. As somebody that doesn't have to really ever go outside very much, because I'm just streaming out of my house, it's still sweltering hot where I am, and even through an air-conditioned house, it sucks the energy out of me completely. And that's why that is definitely a major factor in this summer slump I've been in, where I've just not been able to record as much games as I'd like to. And with the streaming the way it's been the past couple of streams, that Hearthstone stream days used to be my days off, where I'd only play for like 3 hours instead of the 6 hours that I would try to do, or 6 to 8 hours I tried to do. And now with doing 5+ hours of streaming, it went from my laid back day where I don't do that much to the day where I'm doing the most. So yeah, my whole schedule is off. I'm late today's streaming. I set up an alarm clock and tried to go to sleep early last night, and it didn't work one bit, and it never does for people with insomnia. Like, I set up an alarm, I just ignore it, let it go off. So Alexa says, did I watch the Emoji movie yet? Nope, I haven't watched any movie in the theaters probably in years. Like, come to me, little I maybe. Yeah, the last movie I saw in theaters, I think, was Iron Man 2, which was like 3 or 4 years ago. So there's several movies I do want to see, but I don't want to go to theaters to do it. There's I want to see Wonder Woman eventually. I want to see the new Star Wars, the Rogue One movie, a lot of things. Now, the Emoji movie? No, I don't want to see that at all. I heard it was awful, and apparently it's got like close to a zero rating on Rotten Tomatoes. There is something, I'm glad you brought it up though, because this does affect video games in a weird way, because Sony Pictures, one of the companies of Sony that they were hanging their hat on it. They're deeply out of money, and they were saying that the Emoji movie was going to save the day, and now that it has failed, there is a chance, I won't say a guarantee or anything, but there's a good chance that Sony, as a big company, Sony of Japan, Sony that runs insurance and gyms, exercise gyms in Japan, Japanese companies do everything. They very possibly might go completely bankrupt, and that very well might spin Sony Entertainment, that makes the video games, off into its own company. Sony Entertainment is one of the few parts of the company that's making money right now, and it might give some more ability to go in different directions for Sony and PlayStation. It might very well improve the PlayStation and how they do things, or it might go in the complete opposite direction. And or Sony and PlayStation in their games, I'd like to see them make some changes. I'd like their exclusives to come to PC. I'd like them to succeed still in some way, but why didn't they just cancel the movie? Well, there's literally no reason ever to cancel a movie. They've already invested the millions of dollars to make it. They have to get back as much as they possibly can. The point in which they could have canceled the movie was when the script was being passed around and pitched. And instead of doing that for the Emoji Movie, they put as much money into it. They paid Patrick Stewart to play the poop emoji. They thought for a second that this was actually going to make them money and be a big success. And it really is just a great example of how movie producers don't have a clue what they're doing at all. They're idiots. Complete and total idiots, and they think they know what they're doing, and they don't. And sadly, in some cases, video game producers, the higher ups, are getting more and more like that. They don't know what sells. They don't know what the people want, and because of that, they are causing games to get greenlit that don't need to be greenlit. For example, look at EA. Does EA need to do yet another Call of Duty? Does it need to do yet another Madden game? Does it need to do another one of this? You better win this game, says Alexis. Okay, I won. I'll keep on winning. Alexa says yay. A little bit of delay in the video, so you haven't seen it. Actually, I'm on a win streak. So the 7 losses that I had in that stream, that's just kind of how Hearthstone goes sometimes. Like, I used to get upset about it too every now and then, but with more experience, I realized it just happens. After streaming for 5 hours, I got up like at 5 in the morning and played the rest of the daily quest for the European and Asia accounts, and it was fine. I got the victories pretty quickly, pretty easily. So I guess nobody. House Party is potentially going to come back on the Steam in a more self-censored or censored version. I guess it's not self-censored at this point because they're being told they have to censor something, but they don't know exactly what to censor. And they claim they're being targeted by a group, and this is the part that's really underreported, is what's the group. I have to just go question mark SJWs. Like, I assume that's kind of who the group that was targeting them and filing all these pornography complaints. But it sets a very bad precedent, like, that people can claim pornography on Steam and Steam will respond, because that's just going in the wrong direction. If they come for House Party today, they may come for Wolfenstein: The New Order tomorrow, or LA Noire the next day. Let's just keep getting mana things. A Japanese studio called Giantys, Giantys. Maybe it's not with the apostrophe S. Maybe it's just Gianti. Yeah, it's Giantys. With Gianty, has an open-world RPG called Goken, Goken, coming on Steam Early Access, and this is an odd thing to happen. Honestly, because I don't want, while I am certainly loving Japanese RPGs and Japanese games coming to Steam, the last thing I want the Japanese to do is adopt the rest of the world's early access attitude, in which they can put unfinished games out there and sell them and make the player suffer through it. And I don't understand why a top-down old school RPG needs early access at all. Like, it doesn't make sense. And so I hope this doesn't become a new thing that happens. And to surround that, like, Tower of Time is also a Western classic top-down RPG that's entering early access. And I don't want that happening in the Western games either. I want everybody to stop using early access. I wish Steam would significantly devalue those. Do something so there's a grave and huge penalty against it. Alexis asked, why do they have a problem with House Party? I haven't played the game. That they probably think that there's some kind of sexism in it just because it is a bunch of girls and like one guy. How do you have so much mana? Because that's what this deck is built around. There are several cards that will give you mana and let you play later games. They're not the best strategies in the world, honestly, but in this deck, when you're doing a quest that requires you to play creatures with 5 or more attack, it makes sense. It's like it's House Party might be kind of like that Leisure Suit Larry comedy. If it is SJWs, I can from that point say SJWs kind of hate everything. They live off of hate. This is my opinion, and they will find a reason to hate anything. We kind of have that problem now. It's like, why are there not any Nazi games except for Wolfenstein anymore? When Nazis used to be your go-to enemy, it's because people said SJWs in Germany particularly said no Nazis. Why do we not have anything like some of like Roseanne or the one with Al Bundy? I always forget the name of that show. Even why can you not have the misogynist a man as a comedy character in shows? It's because somebody complained. Somebody has always complained, and it's not anything new to the internet, other than the fact that the internet now has given a voice to people without teaching people the age-old lesson of some people you just don't listen to. Like, this really, if you want to read a book, and you probably read it in school, called The Crucible, this is really what the Salem Witch Trials was all about. It was somebody, some busybody somewhere didn't like somebody, didn't like something somebody was doing, and instead of just saying, well, I'll just mind my own business, I'll just not buy the game, I'll just boycott it, they go and they complain to somebody who has authority, and the person who has authority either gets brainwashed into the idea and decides that they should censor or do something worse in the form of the Salem Witch Trials, and they take away the artistic freedom of a creator. Like, there is a game that I didn't even bother to mention that they came on Steam where it is really almost nothing but gay porn, and it's a sequel to another game that was really just nothing but gay porn, and he just claimed it was an artistic statement over and over again. But really, it's nothing but that. So, if he wants to make his bad art, though, I say do it. And I think Steam just needs to be upfront. If you say this game has adult content, it shouldn't be for kids, I fully support that and agree to that. Have your age-gated section where it's an account that has to have a credit card so we know your age. Be upfront, say this is a sex game, it's full of sex, and they should just have it everywhere. And Steam doesn't want to do that, and just turn off the complaints. Honestly, I'm not sure there has ever been an instance in Steam's case of the complaint system working for the consumer at all. Like, literally, I don't think it's ever worked. If somebody puts up a piece of garbage on Steam and you complain about it and file a report against it, unless it's stolen or has a virus in it or something, it still stays on Steam. It still tries to trick other people to buy it. Steam is flooded with bad games because of this. And yet, the one game that some people wanted to play, House Party, some people wanted to play it. Streamers wanted to play it because anything titillizing, anything scandalous is a great game to stream because it lets you dance right up to the rules of YouTube, which that's completely separate if you get your YouTube channel banned because of airing pornography. That's kind of it. Alexis asks, have you heard of Dream Daddy? Yes, I have. I want to play it. I don't particularly want to pay the full price for it because I think it is probably I'm not going to get around to it that quickly is the problem. But yes, I absolutely want to play Dream Daddy. I think that would be a very good balance to playing Honey Pop. It's a good contrast to Honey Pop too because there's a lot of more relationship from what I've seen on Dream Daddy than there was in Honey Pop, where it was just random things. Red Phoenix is online saying hello. Hello, Red Phoenix. So, absolutely I want to play it. I just don't have probably any time to play it right now. So, I will get that probably be in the next Steam Summer Sale, if nothing else. And I think it is a good candidate for Valentine's month, so Valentine's Day next year, which is a long wait. If people wanted to give me free games on Steam, I would potentially, that's one I would almost certainly make that extra effort to get it recorded and get done. There is some interesting. Oh darn it! The way this animates always tricks me. Alexis asks, Red Phoenix, do you notice anything different about the stream? Question mark. But yeah, I don't think Dream Daddy is going to be as crude even as Honey Pop was. And it's going to be a much more normal dating simulator, just with dad jokes. It's kind of an odd fetish to want to date dads because you are a dad, but it's not something I've ever thought of. Like, I've never wanted to date a dad or a mom because they have a kid. It seems like a weird connection to make, but it sounds pretty practical too. If you have children, dating somebody else who has experience raising children might be very helpful. It also might be a nightmare because then they might have completely different ways of raising children. Red Phoenix says the fidget spinner. Alex says, yep. Have you seen Morph Blade yet? I couldn't find Morph Blade, I don't think. Is it on Steam? Like, I looked for it, and I looked for the other one that you mentioned and put it on my wish list, but I couldn't find a game called Morphblade. Typing in with the caps lock on again.
For the wild. Job's done.
There is a slight problem if people typing in chat with the caps lock on. I'll never know when people are really yelling at me. But that's alright. I guess I don't really need to know that, do I? M-O-R-P-H. Morphblade. Morphblade, yes. One word. Is it this one word hex grid game that... Is that the Morphblade you're talking about? It's the description. In Morphblade, you move around the grid, slicing, smashing, and bursting waves of nasty red bugs. Each of these moves transforms you into a different weapon of Blade's hex. I guess I did find that one. I guess I didn't find the other one. Let's see.
Job's done.
Yeah, I have Morphblade as one word wishlisted on my account, but so I've seen it. Am I gonna play it anytime soon? No. Like, my budget right now, and this is not a kind thing to say for my YouTube channel, but right now I'm thinking about building a RetroPie console, and that's where my budget is focused right now, and I've got it down to slightly below $140 to build a retro console with having all the hardware put together, and it will probably be more than that. If that's the budget, I'll go over it 2 times probably. Alexis, you know, if you want, you can take out the spinner. Yeah, I was just gonna leave it on for this stream, and then I'm gonna take it off. It's not gonna be there forever. Is it distracting you, Alexis? All this spinning going on over here. Spin, 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 spin. It's not interactive. Lexus, it's so he can see easier, and Rydo. What about Reus? R-E-U-S. That was the other one I think I couldn't find. Let's see. R-E-U-S. Yeah, I found that one. Yeah, this is the one where it's these monsters walking around the tiny little planet. Yeah, I see them, but they're nowhere on my list. Let's see. That's one of the things where I just kind of need to work on my channel, in particular. If I had, this is 100% my fault. If I had just been on the ball and I had a year's worth of content already scheduled to air, when somebody suggested me a game, then my budget would be perfectly free to buy a game at the full price. Which it isn't right now. My schedule would be so free that I could play any game suggested, and I could play new games too. And see, that's where the large amount of recommendations are going to come to, is people are going to want me to play new games, and that's eventually what my channel has to devolve down to, is I can eventually I play all the old games and I have to just cover the new games, and there's certainly been a lot of new games this year so far, although there's been also a lot of announcements of new games for next year and the year after that. Let's see, moving on with the story, with the news, there was some GTA 6 rumors that were made up. Somebody had a fake like LinkedIn thing saying that they worked on it. Red Phoenix says, I'm playing Reyes right now. Well, Steam does have this thing as you play more and you get up on the levels by making badges, you occasionally will get discounts for games, and even every now and then you get free games, and you can take those inventory items and give them to your friends. And that's one of the reasons why I want more people to friend me on Steam is I have, like, right now a game of something that I could just give to somebody. I don't know if it's a time thing. Let me look, as I'm distracting myself terribly here. Like, look in my inventory. On top of things, I have like a Killing Floor guest pass, which gives people limited access, and I have a copy of the game See No Evil sitting in my inventory. And Alexa says I'm playing Candy Crush right now. Don't play Candy Crush. Candy Crush cheats. I literally hacked Candy Crush to have an infinite number of all of the extras, and it still was impossible to beat some levels. It has been decoded and deprogrammed to prove that it cheats. People should know that Rockstar is not making GTA 6. I'm willing to make the bet. Mark it down in your books. 2 years from now, GTA 6 will not even be announced. They are not going to do anything at all until GTA Online stops making money.
Malfurion versus Illyria.
This will be our last game for this recording, and then we'll break and start the next recording. The Dark Souls boss rush mod now disables saving to prevent corruption. That's really not news. Honestly, I shouldn't cover a mod twice, but if you are holding back and wanted to try this mod that lets you just run to all the bosses of Dark Souls, now it's it's safer to do that. Red Phoenix says, have you played Factorio or Slime Ranchers? I did want to play Factorio. It's kind of dead now. I think it might still be early access. Eventually I do want to get to it. I eventually want to get to all games. It's easier just to look at my Steam profile and see all the games I own and all the games I've to know. I hear so many rumors about GTA 6, says Alexis. Yeah, don't believe a single one of them. They're not making GTA 6. Not until GTA Online stops making them money. That is particularly why they're doing cease and desists of all the mods and open 4 and everything, is because they know they've got competition that they've got to eliminate because they're not making something better. Slime Rancher, another game I want to play, certainly. But it's not... Again, I think it was in early access when it first came out. I'm not sure if it is out of early access. A lot of these games that come out early access, I see them, I'm like, okay, that's on the list of something I want to play. And then I wait for them to come out of early access, and they don't do it fast enough, and people have already moved on. Slime Rancher has a bit of a history, though, in Japan, so there's probably a little bit more to say. However, that being said, where Factorio is more of a programming game, like the game I covered, Human Resource Machine, Slime Rancher is more of a farming game, I would guess, like Stardew Valley. And I really burned out of Stardew Valley rather quickly. I just don't think farming simulator games are really my bag. So I'm very possibly could play Slime Rancher for just a small amount of time and then give up. Factorio, more likely to stick with that game to some sort of an end, if there is some sort of an end. Which maybe there isn't. The Wolfenstein 2 Season Pass is going to have 3 new stories with all new heroes, which is a little weird to play a DLC and just like, here's a new character you didn't even see in the main game at all, but you were sure you'll want to pay for. You want to pay for a new character and new story. I'm not even sure if I got the Season Pass or if there was a Season Pass for Wolfenstein 1, so there might be some DLC I missed. Maybe not, because there was that Old Blood game in between, and that might have been the DLC. I think I may very well have won every game I've played so far. Interesting. It's nice to play with cards that actually can win.
Who to shoot?
Red Phoenix, you should start making half-hour videos, not hour. Hour videos are too long. Okay, I'll think about that. Here's the question I would ask about that. If I make half-hour videos, what I've noticed is it usually takes me about 2 or 3 minutes to actually get into gameplay, unless I'm very, very aware of that. So most of the time I'll try to go really quickly, within 20 seconds, get back from the pause screen into gameplay. But the very first episode in any series usually takes me about 5 minutes to just talk about the game, show the settings, and begin. So that very first episode in particular has 5 minutes at the beginning and probably 3 minutes at the end. So you're talking 8 minutes of a 30-minute video that I've already done aren't around the gameplay and criticism. So that's one issue I've noticed before when doing 30-minute episodes. A second issue is when I do 30-minute episodes, every time I stop in the episode, I open myself personally up to the possibility of stopping recording right then. So it causes me, and this is my own personal fault, to not want to continue recording. So that is a personal thing I would have to work on. And because every single break, if you ever do anything, this is true for everybody, every time you take a break, if you have the opportunity to stop working on something, you will. That's why if you want to motivate yourself and get something done, you really need to just stay in the chair. And then the third issue too is if I make 30-minute episode videos on shows that in the past have been hour-long videos, that means it's going to take 2 months for me to air it. Are you willing to watch every Monday through Friday for 2 months to get from the beginning of a game to the end of the game? So if you have any thoughts on that, and give me feedback on that, because I could do 30-minute episodes, and in some cases I have done this on accident. I did this, I think, on what was it? Deus Ex Human Revolution. I made 30-minute episodes, but then I made so many of them I had to double up. So I could do a 30-minute episode and then do a second 30-minute episode 30 minutes later and have twice as many videos show up on the feed and still get it up there. Get it all done in almost a month. Although Deus Ex Human Revolution was really, really long. Alexa says most people do 10-minute videos. No way I could do a 10-minute video. Literally, like I said, it takes me 8 minutes to do the setup and the wrap up on a video. I would barely be making 2 minutes of actual content there. Most people do 10-minute videos because they record 2 hours of footage and edited it down. I don't do any editing, and because of laziness and for just time management reason.
Masterful. I can see.
So yeah, I could do that. Alexis also says he prefers 1 hour videos, which so we've got a balance there. But this is the feedback I most definitely need is how many people prefer one style video and how many people prefer another style video. Because like I will bend to the majority's whim if I can get that done, but I need to know what the majority really wants. 30 minutes are pretty hard for me though. I do 30-minute videos for games that are like 10 hours to stretch them out to be a month long, and that's what I try to do. Is every month about I try to have a new game in every time slot. If people are having trouble watching an hour-long video, it's just pause it and take a break is all I can really say. You don't have to watch it in one stretch. There is a save for later button. There's if you pause a video and go somewhere else, YouTube is about 50-50 on remembering where you were before. Just look at the time otherwise, and then you'll know that, know where it stopped. Alright, well, we made amazing progress. I only need to play 30 Murlocs, which means I'll only play a couple of Murloc deck games for the Americas account, and then we'll move on to the real struggle and see if we can get the daily quests done for the other accounts. That's gonna be it for this recording, so everybody say goodbye to the fidget spinner. Bye bye. I don't think the fidget spinner's coming back for a while, if ever. And that's going to be it for this recording. If you're watching live, stay tuned. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.